Lexus. They are the masters of the hybrid, the quiet champions of the suburban cul-de-sac. But then, the world went electric. And Lexus, in their typical methodical fashion, waited. They watched as others rushed to build an EV, but they continued to wait until they could build an EV that felt like a proper Lexus. The result is the RZ. And for 2026, it gained some meaningful updates that make it better than when it first came out. On the outside, the 2026 Lexus RZ looks basically the same as the previous model year. It has a sharp, futuristic look to it, but it's underneath this sharp suit where things have changed. The 2026 Lexus RZ gets a bigger battery. It's now 77 kilowatt hours. But the power output to this 450e trim remains the same as before, 308 horsepower. I think that's plenty fast because it gets up to speed and up to 100 kilometers an hour from a dead stop in about 5 seconds, which is plenty fast for this Lexus. The big difference is with the new trim that's available. You can get the RZ in this 450e all-wheel drive trim or the front-wheel drive 350e. But the new 550e all-wheel drive F-Sport is the one to get if you want your Lexus to have a bit more fizz. This one produces 402 horsepower and drops the 0 to 100 km/h sprint down to the mid 4 seconds. To further enhance that feeling of driving excitement, Lexus has given this RZ an M mode. It's a virtual transmission that replicates virtual gear changes much like the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. This of course does make the car slower than just leaving it in D, but these sort of technologies make an EV feel less like an appliance and more like a machine that you can actually connect to. Of course, with all the extra power and the big wheels that the 550 gets, it has the lowest amount of range out of all of the RZs. It only has about 369 kilometers of range, whereas this 450e gets up to 418 kilometers of range. But if you want the most range, you have to go for the front-wheel drive 350e with almost 480 kilometers out of its battery. What's more, the 2026 RZ features better battery thermal management and faster level 2 charging. It's up to now the industry standard of 11 kilowatts, which Lexus says will charge up the battery from 10% to 100% in about 7 hours. At a DC fast charger, the RZ can only accept up to 150 kilowatts, but that's still good enough for a 10% to 80% top-up in about 30 minutes. Furthermore, the RZ can now access Tesla superchargers because it uses the NACS plug. With the battery topped up, the RZ is very easy to drive. It's stable through turns, but it doesn't feel sleep-inducingly boring. The Direct 4 all-wheel drive system can shuffle the power from a 60-40 front split to a 0-100 rear split in milliseconds. Coupled with the light but precise steering, and the RZ is enjoyable on more entertaining mountain roads. It's not sporty like the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, for example, but then again, it's not trying to be. Being an electric car, it already has a quiet cabin, but the engineers took it a step further and added acoustic glass and extra sound insulation so that you don't even hear the hum of the electric motor. It is very quiet. Equally impressive is the ride. The 450e uses something called frequency reactive dampers, which are not electric adaptive dampers, but instead they are frequency sensitive. That means that they firm up for better control during low frequency action such as cornering, but soften during high frequency action such as hitting road imperfections. On the inside, the 2026 Lexus RZ doesn't see any changes compared to the previous model year. You still get a large 14-inch infotainment touchscreen, but with physical temperature knobs. the same great feeling leather wrapped steering wheel, and the radiant heaters underneath the steering wheel and where the glove box would have been. These are great because instead of blowing hot air and wasting battery energy, these warm up your legs much more quickly. It's like having a blanket wrapping your legs. As for space, the front seats provide plenty of it even for those that are as tall as me at 6'4". In the back seats, it's not too bad if you're a little bit shorter than I am. Behind my tall driving position, my knees gently brush up against the back of the front seats, as does my hair against the headliner. But as I said, if you're shorter, your knees and hair probably won't rub. In the trunk, the RZ can accommodate 966 liters of cargo space behind the rear seats. Fold them down, and that number increases to 1,574 liters. Unfortunately, the RZ does not have a frunk like some other EVs, but there is a little bit of small item storage space underneath the trunk floor. As for tech, it has the usual stuff that you would expect from a Lexus. There are those radiant heaters that I mentioned earlier, along with heated and ventilated front seats and heated rear seats. There's a panoramic moonroof that doesn't open, but it has a cool electric dimming feature. There's a dual zone automatic climate control, a wireless phone charging pad, a head-up display, a digital rear view mirror, a power liftgate in the back, and an automated parking feature that can detect the lines on the ground and park in between them. On the safety side, it comes with Lexus Safety System 3.0, which includes almost all of the available safety and driver aids that can be equipped on the RZ. The only add-ons with the luxury or executive packages include traffic jam assist, lane change assist, and front cross traffic alert. As for the cost, the base RZ 350e is just shy of $60,000 Canadian, while this RZ 450e starts just under $67,000 Canadian. On this one, you can get the luxury and executive packages, which cost an additional $6,000 and $16,000 respectively. And as for the top spec RZ 550e, that one is $77,990 Canadian. So is this the best EV? No. There are faster and longer driving EVs out there, but the Lexus RZ is built with the precision of a Swiss watch and the comfort of a Fairmont hotel. If you want something that will scream at the horizon and live on the edge of a charging map, there are other options out there for you. But if you want a car that treats the road as a nuisance to be smoothed out and you don't mind stopping for a cup of coffee a little bit more often, then the Lexus RZ is a great way to go silent. In the meantime, if you would like to know more about this 2026 Lexus RZ 450e, I have a more detailed written review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car, truck, or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next one.